History is full of incredible stories, unexpected twists, and mind-blowing facts that have shaped our world. Today we're diving into some of the most fascinating historical moments that you probably didn't learn in school. Get ready to be amazed, because some of these are stranger than fiction. Let's start with ancient Egypt. Did you know that Cleopatra wasn't actually Egyptian, although she's often remembered as one of the greatest figures in Egyptian history? Cleopatra VII was Greek. She was a descendant of Ptolemy I, one of Alexander the Great's generals, and she ruled during a time when Greek culture heavily influenced Egypt. In fact, Cleopatra was the first ruler in her family to learn the Egyptian language. Now let's sail to the age of the Vikings. These fearless warriors are well known for their raids and exploration, but there's a surprising fact that many people don't know. Vikings were surprisingly hygienic for their time. They even had a Saturday dedicated to grooming and bathing. Archaeologists have found combs, tweezers, razors, and even ear cleaners in Viking sites. Unlike the stereotype of dirty barbarians, the Vikings were all about looking good and being clean. Speaking of stereotypes, have you ever heard that Napoleon Bonaparte was extremely short? Well, that's actually a myth. Napoleon was around 5'6" or 5'7", which was average height for his time. The confusion came from a mix-up between French and British measuring units. His enemies used this myth as propaganda to belittle him, pun intended. So next time you hear about Napoleon syndrome, remember he wasn't as small as people think. Next up, the Great Wall of China, a wonder of the world and a symbol of China's resilience. But here's the twist. Despite popular belief, it's not actually one continuous wall. It's made up of different segments built by various dynasties over many centuries. Even more surprising is that the claim that you can see it from space is not quite true. Astronauts have stated that it's almost impossible to see with the naked eye from the moon due to its thin width and the color blending into the surrounding terrain. Moving on to medieval Europe, we often hear about knights and their shining armor, but did you know they were big fans of chess? The game was a popular pastime for nobles, including knights, as it was believed to sharpen strategic thinking skills. The game was so important that it even became a metaphor for military strategy during that era. They called it the Game of Kings for a reason. Next, let's talk about one of the most famous tragedies in modern history, the sinking of the Titanic. The ship was famously considered unsinkable, but here's an eerie twist. Just a few years before the Titanic set sail, a novel titled Futility was published, which described a massive ship called the Titan that hit an iceberg and sank. The similarities between the fictional Titan and the real Titanic are shocking. It almost seemed like the book predicted the future. Now, let's fly over to the American Revolution era and talk about one of the founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin. Many people know about his experiments with electricity, particularly the famous kite experiment. But did you know Franklin was also a prolific inventor? He created bifocal glasses, the lightning rod, and even a musical instrument called the glass harmonica, which was said to be played by composers like Mozart and Beethoven. His curiosity truly knew no bounds. History isn't just about dates and names, it's a collection of human stories, incredible innovations, and strange coincidences that shape the world we live in today. If you enjoyed these facts, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing historical tales. Who knows? You might just uncover a story that changes the way you see the past.